Welcome. The Card is Going to Change, presented by AIW and sponsored by Smart Mark Video and the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Glenn Moore, joined in studio, like always, by the co-owners of AIW, Mr. John Thorne and Chandler Biggins. And the topic for this show is, well, guys, we're going to be talking about the Warped Tour you guys took place last month. We saw the return of John Thorne into the wrestling ring. Some other surprises that took place in the ring at the Warped Tour, and also getting into maybe some not so good stories on the road when dealing with tours and companies like this. When you're not really, the main guys in charge of what goes on with your event. So let's get into it. Your thoughts on the Warped Tour? Was it successful? Did you guys want to do it right off the bat? And what made you go, decide, hey, we're going to do this?
I wanted to do it right off the bat. Mr. Biggins did not want to do it.
Yeah, we should go back to 2010.
We had a bad experience before when we tried to do it, so this was a bit of an internal argument, so to speak, on whether we should or shouldn't do it. But I'll let Biggins explain why he didn't want to do it.
So back in 2010, we did 2 days of Warped. One in Cleveland, one in Indianapolis, and then the Mayhem Festival, which was a related property of the Warped, whatever the parent company is. I don't remember, Live Nation or something.
Feeney or something.
Yeah. So we did a metal thing with the Mayhem Festival in Cincinnati and 2 with Warped. All 3, I would have rather not done. It was hot. It was miserable. None of the people walking by cared. Like, we really didn't have big crowds for any of it. Really, none of the bands even cared, really. It was just kind of like we were there taking up space from people.
I had fun, but Biggins did not have fun. But it also kind of, I think ultimately why he didn't want to do it is it kind of was like a black cloud, sort of, so to speak, era of AIW. Like,
nothing was working out for us back then.
And like at the Cleveland Warped Tour date, we had a former business partner quit basically that day, and all sorts of problems kind of stemmed from the Warped Tour in 2010. So it just kind of had like a negative, association as far as we were concerned, and we hadn't contacted them in since 6 years.
And I think you talked to them last year, but they said no wrestling that year. And
yeah, but anyway, I wanted to do it because we have students now, and we have quite a few students, and we don't have anywhere for them to wrestle, really. It's hard to get them on every AIW show. It's hard to get them ring time. So I thought that this would be easy ring time for them to just kind of wrestle low pressure all day. And, coming out of those experiences in 2010, I felt like we had a better idea on how to handle it. When we went in 2010, I think we had...
It was very haphazard.
Yeah, and I also think we had these big expectations for... We were just going to put up a wrestling ring in the middle of Warped Tour, and 1,000 people were just going to be fucking losing their minds.
Totally Field of Dreams style, like build it and they will come.
We were just like, fuck, man, there's going to be, thousands of people there, at the very least, we're going to have, 1,000 people watching us at any given time. They're probably going to put us right next to the main stage. We didn't know that they were going to put us, off in a fucking corner of a parking lot.
I think the Mayhem Fest, we were the furthest thing you could possibly be away from the stage.
Yeah, so I think this time we kind of went back with a better game plan.
Very, much lower expectations.
And, we were realistic, and we just looked at it as a way for, our students to get experience and wrestle in front of a non-wrestling crowd, a non-familiar crowd. We basically had all day to do whatever we wanted. So I think some students wrestled as much as 5 times at the Warped Tour, which, you can't buy experience like that. That's, that was why I wanted to do it. I thought it was worth the expense of, we had to transport everything there, and we had to, pick up some additional insurance policies and things like that.
And I think the entire barter came down to, we did a convention with Dennis Stamp in Philadelphia, and that was my wish granted, and Thorne got the Warped Tour. So it was kind of like...
Because that convention did not go so well.
Not so well at all.
If anyone's looking to sign up for that convention at the ECW Arena
Icons of Wrestling.
I don't think I don't think it goes too well for the vendors unless you're Shawn Michaels. But that was a learning experience because we had always kind of talked about getting involved and doing the convention loop, and we never did. So we gave it a shot,
and it ended up getting Dennis another booking off of that, and we got nothing.
Yeah, but we found out very quickly, just like the Warped Tour in 2010, that the convention circuit is not very easy. It's a very, very, very hard hard kind of hustle to do. But we ended up taking a loss on that. So it's kind of just boiled down to like, hey, we did this convention. Let's do this Warped Tour thing. It's way less of a risk. And let's just get our students some work because initially none of them were going to be on Absolution later in the week except for Frankie Flynn. So we ended up going through with it and signing the contracts and all that. And we were going to do it very, very, very low key. And then Andy Williams from Every Time I Die hit me up like 2 days before and was like, hey man, I want to wrestle. And I was like, isn't your knee broken? Like last I heard he had a bad knee. He goes, well, yeah, I can't do an Iron Man match, but I could give you a fucking solid 8. So I was like, oh, fuck. All right. Because we were going to go with like, just put a fucking ring up and like a curtain. We weren't going to have sound or anything because
at one point we just had the megaphone.
You don't get electric hookups at the Warped Tour.
Yeah.
If you want electricity, you got to bring a generator. So like after Andy Williams hit me up, it was like fucking like I could never pull this off in a million years, but I start fucking looking for generator and looking for sound equipment and fucking trying to get our like because we don't do any of this shit at our normal shows. Like we pay Jeff Traxler to do it, but we don't want to add expenses onto it. So like we're trying to figure it all out. So like I start like negotiating like free admission to the Warped Tour in exchange for like a generator, free admission to the Warped Tour in exchange for a fucking sound system,
an entranceway.
Yeah, an entranceway. I fucking barter all this shit in like 2 days, and it ends up being like a fucking pretty big deal. We met all like it was a totally different experience than in 2010. Like bands were coming over and fucking like loving wrestling,
like a million times different.
Yeah, like all these dudes were coming over. Like we met all these like important people and these like celebrity types. Like fucking like Good Charlotte was over there, and fucking this band 4 Years Strong, and their tour managers are coming over, and this band real friends, and fucking Andy Williams and Every Time I Die is coming over. So we're doing all this fucking network. We're walking around and we're meeting all these people. There were some WWE divas in attendance, just watching.
We can't talk about that. I learned the hard way.
We're watching the bands. So it was a totally different experience than in 2010 when it fucking sucked.
It's just weird to look up and see Good Charlotte watching wrestling, eating snow cones.
Yeah, in which Biggins was in. He definitely did not want to be there right off the rip. He was still pissed. He was still pissed when we got there. He was just yelling at every fucking person he saw at 8:30 in the morning, yelling at fans that were watching, just wanted to be as miserable as possible until people started buying stuff. And then he couldn't even pretend to be mad anymore. Like there was one point where he would just like he was purposely trying to drive people away, I think you're purposely mad that it was actually going well at one point.
No.
Yeah.
I wanted people to spend money because people were just standing there.
He's just calling people, hey, guy in the fucking Superman shirt, why don't you fucking buy something?
Well, yeah, I want some money. I knew how much money went into this thing. We got to make something back.
No, he was just mad it was going good, I think, and he was just trying to drive the crowd away. So it went way better, I think, than he even anticipated it going. And then, I ended up getting real fucking drunk and getting talked into wrestling again, or I don't even know if you could call it wrestling.
How long has it been?
Oh, I don't know.
Absolution 9?
8, 9? I don't know. 8.
Absolution
8.
8. Absolution 8.
It's been a while. But I drank a whole bottle of Tito's throughout the day because I had to stay hydrated. Fucking Big Mo and Derek Direction were really putting the pressure on me. I just put some boots on, and I don't know what the fuck happened.
I just remember at one point you're laying on the ground in the middle of the crowd, and you just look at me and you go, "Oh, I'm so hurt."
I fucking shit. I was feeling it, man. I called that suplex on the concrete, and then I realized that was a dumb idea. But yeah.
And like last week we talked about JT, but like you definitely are the definition of the JT's favorite phrase: "Do as I say, not as I do." Because the first thing you're yelling at everybody, "Nobody brawl in the crowd," and then the match comes up, I go, "There goes Thorne right into the guardrail."
Yeah, I said, "Don't go in the crowd. We got to get insurance." Blah blah blah. I'm right over the fucking guardrail, getting suplexed into people, fucking breaking everything we had in our booth over fucking Kaplan because he kicked me for fucking so hard for
We
real.
just kept handing you stuff to hit him with.
Oh my god, dude, fuck, he fucking killed me. I feel sorry for anybody that I've booked against Kaplan now, because he fucking beat the shit out of me. I don't think he was there the day when they taught wrestling isn't real. He was just kicking me as hard as he could.
Which is very ironic because every Kaplan match you're like, I love this guy, he's just so stiff.
Yeah, so I fucking paid the price, but I was drunk, so it wasn't that bad. And then
we went to check on you in the back, and then you were wearing like a NBA jersey. Somehow it's covered in blood, and nobody knows how.
Yeah, I had somebody's blood all over me. I don't know. And then, I just fucking wandered around the Warped Tour for fucking hours drunk. I was like invited on the side stage for this band 4 Years Strong, and fucking Good Charlotte was there, and I fucking blocked their fucking view because I figured, man, this guy fucks Cameron Diaz, and he's a millionaire. He could fucking stand behind me. I got to get over on this guy somehow. I think he was pissed off, but I could give a fuck. But yeah, then we ended up, Andy Williams ended up wrestling, and we got so much publicity off of that. Like,
because Ryan Saxon was DMing us as it's going on, like, I need footage.
Well, of course he was.
Yeah.
But he plus
Sorry,
like
there was no engagement at our show.
yeah, plus like all these outside publications that we would have never reached. Like we were able to get publicity. Like Metal Injection wrote an article on us, and all these different like music kind of like avenues were putting attention on us. Plus like all these bands were tweeting about us and tagging us on it. We got so much publicity off of doing the Warped Tour. And
like the Real Friends, I see so much about them on the internet, but like I think the dude thanked us about 1,000 times for just letting him take a selfie in the ring.
Yeah, and like both My Valentine and all these bands that have like hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers were tagging us, and like we went about it with such low expectations this year. It exceeded expectations. Which it's kind of hard to get excited because we've definitely had some bad experiences where like things are kind of outside of our control, and there's like other like things controlling what's going on. We could have some we've had some really, really bad experiences where it's like not us putting on the event,
because everything sounds great on paper, and then in reality it turns out bad. Like what was it? What year was it? 2012 or 2010? 2010. 2010. We had
2010, man, bad year.
Yeah, that was a really bad year.
Bad year for outside endeavors.
2011, 2012, 2013 were all bad.
Yeah, pretty much every year. That's why I said a couple weeks ago we should have sold to that guy that offered us $25,000.
So anyways, in 2010, Drew Cordero, who runs Beyond Wrestling, Denver, Colorado, the man, not the place, the man behind Championship Melt.
Oh my God, with these fucking plugs, man.
The man formerly...
We're not getting any money for this.
Women's Wrestling Revolution.
Jesus Christ.
So the guy who runs Beyond Wrestling, he worked for us for a couple years. And he lived in Sandusky.
He's
which
pretty much like our intern, like unpaid intern for, I don't know, like 2 years.
This is how he learned the business, which what a way to learn from us. But what would you say? Sandusky's about an hour away from here, 90 minutes?
Yeah, it's like 90 minutes away. He's like, he sets up this like sold gig for us. And we're just like, sweet, awesome. Like,
because we ran a couple shows in Sandusky at his work, which he was like the IT for a haunted house all year round.
I don't even know if he was IT. He's like a marketing director or something for like a year-round haunted house. It was fucking real weird.
Which is, I'm sure it's hard to get people in the wintertime to go see your haunted house.
But yeah, like he sets up this sold gig in Sandusky, and it's at some bar. I don't even remember what the fuck it's called. But
the guy was super excited.
Yeah, and we're getting like a good amount of money, and we're like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. There's no fucking risk for us.
And we didn't know this guy. This guy was just like a stranger.
But
and
it was a concert club.
It was a concert club, and he goes, it's so exciting because we're running with the Ohio Bike Week, which in Ohio Bike Week draws like 100,000 people.
It's like a bullshit fucking Sturgis. Like, we thought we were gonna be road wilding this motherfucker.
Because this guy says we're running with the Ohio Bike Week. So we walk in.
I thought they were gonna give us some fucking Harleys and fucking Jay Leno.
We walk in and we're thinking, this is great. We're gonna be Motley Crue is coming up for Ohio Bike Week and all this other stuff. We're a part of this Ohio Bike Week.
I fucking straight up thought we were gonna do Road Wild. Like, I was fucking pumped. I thought it was gonna be outside. I thought it was gonna be fucking people fucking revving their fucking bikes. Well, it couldn't have been more fucking wrong.
We show up and we realize the guy is running against the Ohio Bike Week, not with.
He thought AIW was gonna fucking outdraw Motley Crue coming to fucking Ohio for the first time in like 15 years.
Yeah, we ran directly head-to-head with Motley Crue. Well, this guy, not only is he running against one of the biggest events ever in Sandusky, Ohio.
Which, the only thing in Sandusky is Cedar Point. That is like the only thing that exists in Sandusky.
Besides the all-year-round haunted house.
So, like, it's Cedar Point and Ohio Bike Week is now like the biggest thing going on in Sandusky for that, week or whatever long it fucking was. But so this guy lies to us and says we were going to be a part of this bike week. Well, instead he's running against Motley Crue head to head the exact same time, and then he fucking forgets to hire a doorman. Like, how can you run a concert club? He's paying us. We have a guarantee. We have a signed contract. He's going to pay us like X amount of dollars, and then he
because I'm standing
forgets.
there. I'm standing there because this is like a weird concert club. Like it's the front door, and then you go downstairs, and it's like in the basement of another building. So it's a pretty big concert club. I'd say probably compared to like a Peabody's or something like that, which, just a smaller concert club if you're not in Cleveland. And so anyways, this guy, he comes down and goes, doors are open. But what he failed to realize was there's nobody at the door. People are just walking by me. I assume they're fans that paid.
Doors had been open. This is the only show in AIW history that had zero paid. Which,
wow.
Yeah, zero paid. And
he blamed us.
He blamed us. And I was like, dude, you ran against Motley Crue and you own this venue and you forgot to hire somebody to collect the money.
I would say maybe tops there was 50 people there.
Oh, yeah, that's being generous. But I do remember specifically, for some odd reason, 4 people drove up to the show from North Carolina because they wanted to see the Olsen Twins reunite for the first time in years or some true. Shit. It was fucking weird. But so at the end of the night, I go, hey, Bad, like, where's our money? And he goes, dude, there was zero paid. And I go, well, that's cool, but I can't zero pay the fucking 20 wrestlers that are back there.
Yeah.
I go, I need my money. So
because he had agreed to a pretty high amount.
Yeah, it was a pretty premium price, especially for 2010 AIW. So, this fucking guy, in order to pay us, he opens up his fucking video poker online and starts betting huge so he can get his fucking bank balance up. The only way we were getting paid is if this guy fucking won at video poker. So we had to stand in this dude's office and fucking hang on the fucking like edge of our seats at every hand this fucking guy played, hoping this motherfucker would get a royal flush or something so we could get our fucking money and go pay everyone that was sitting in the back, which everybody in the back was already not taking the show seriously and already thought that they weren't getting paid. Like Sterling James Keenan, he wrestled in a bowling outfit or something.
Oh, yeah, he was...
We didn't even release the show on DVD, I don't think.
It was free on YouTube. I don't even know if it's still up.
Yeah, we put bits and pieces of it up on YouTube, but it was a fucking mess. Luckily, the guy hit a fucking heater of a hand and we got fucking paid. But, like, that's kind of why we're so reluctant about working with these, like, outside groups. We're like...
Because everybody has, like, like we were saying, we have grandiose ideas. Like, the general public has way bigger ideas than we do.
Yeah, so fucking, like, it's... it's always a gamble.
This guy thought Colin Delaney and Dalton Castle were going to outdraw Vince Neil and Tommy Lee.
Yeah, and it's hard to be like, it's hard for us to be like, cool, man, you're going to give us all this money, and then we book all these people, and, like, you know, getting that money is, like, up in the air. You know, it's totally outside of our control. Like, we have no idea how many tickets are selling. We have no idea what, like, the financial situation is. So, like, that was, like, a really, really eye-opening experience of, like, you know, the dream is to always get these paid bought shows, but the reality is like they're a fucking
and like
mess.
I think the guy probably thinks you're like the biggest asshole in the world because you were so mean to him. But like
I was like stern with this fucking poker fucking venue guy.
He gave you this sob story of, oh, I can't pay you guys, but you knew you were gonna take the heat for all the dudes in the back.
Right, like I was like very, very stern with this dude, and I was like, dude, I need my fucking money because we had no money to pay everybody that was there. So it was just like, dude, like, we need this money or, like, everybody that's here is never, ever, ever going to work for me ever again. Like, you know, this was your problem. And, like, you know, we kind of, you know, we had to put our reputations on the line for this fucking guy. We didn't know from any, like, we had a signed contract, but who fucking cares? You know what I mean? Like,
you could have to go through the court systems.
Right. Like, you know, that's a whole other fucking, you
can't pay Corey Graves in a IOU when we get our money from the court.
Right. So, like, you know, it's always the dream to, like, go on the road and do these fucking sold shows, but, like, when it's outside of your control, like, it's impossible. But there have been some cool fucking experiences where we went on the road, like,
well, one real quick thing about Sandusky is afterwards, I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but we did a shoot interview with the Olsen Twins, and that was that night. And at the end of it, I fell asleep in another room, and Thorne woke me up, and I thought I was dreaming because you say we lost our ring canvas.
Oh, yeah. The fucking
like, we have a horrible night at this.
The ring canvas falls out of the fucking ring truck somewhere between Sandusky and fucking Cleveland, Ohio. And, like, we have no way to find it, recover it, or buy a new one. So that was just
No, they actually did find it because the aprons were taped to it. The side aprons were there, but somebody had stolen canvas.
Yeah, somebody stole a fucking ring canvas on the side of the fucking highway. So, yeah, that was just, like, an awful experience. But, like, you know, to kind of counteract that, there have been some, like, cool, like, shocking, I don't know, like, times where we took risks and went on the road and it was awesome. Like, you know, there was fucking, in 2007, my buddies were going to Ohio University, and they wanted to throw, like, Ohio University is, like, the #1 party school in the world, and they wanted to throw a big-ass fucking party, and they wanted to do something different. So they were like, hey, can you throw a wrestling show at our house? It's not like, it's like a frat house, but it wasn't like an official fraternity. And they're like, we're going to buy 40 kegs and we're going to take up a collection. Who is an awesome legend that you can book and that would want to party with us?
And so, we had just had the Honky Tonk Man. So,
of course, after, you know, we witnessed the Honky Tonk Man's babyface turn of him.
Turn face.
You know, liking to watch. We 100% decided to book the Honky Tonk Man at a college
Talk about
party.
A guy that just saved himself another booking. You know, I could have fired him when he was going to watch a giant rat get fucked on my bed, but turned babyface.
So that goes to show you, you know, you always side with the promoter. You'll get an extra payday out of it. So, you know, that was another thing where, like, you know, people took up a collection and, like, our fate was basically in the hands of fucking poor-ass college kids to go around with the collection plate and pay our fucking expenses.
And we set up early in the morning, and we left the Honky Tonk Man at the hotel because we're thinking, oh man, this guy's gonna hate that the entranceway is a driveway.
Like we booked him, but then we didn't think about the logistics of he's literally gonna wrestle in a backyard. Like, this is literally a backyard wrestling event that we're promoting.
Well, technically it's a back driveway.
Yeah, backyard, back driveway, whatever. The fucking ring was in front of a garage. So, like, we're like, fuck, you know, he's here, but how are you going to explain to him what
and then he kept
happening?
He kept, like, asking us, like, when is the show? Well, let me get to the show.
Yeah, let's get to the venue. He didn't know the venue was a fucking house. And one thing, I don't think he does it anymore, but at that time, when you booked the Honky Tonk Man, you had to have a bottle of Seagram's Extra Smooth vodka for him as soon as he got off the plane.
And you had to take him to a grocery store so he could get Skyline Chili spice mix.
Yeah, because he loves Skyline Chili for whatever reason.
He said that's the only reason he works Ohio.
So eventually we bring the fucking Honky Tonk Man to this house. and we don't know what to expect, man. This guy, yes, he had just turned babyface after watching a rat get fucked in Biggins' bed months prior. But this guy has also wrestled the fucking WrestleMania 3 in the fucking, Pontiac Silverdome. So this is a long way down from there. And he pulls in, and it's a house, and, there's a bunch of college girls walking around and shit. And, like, it's literally a driveway with a curtain in it. And he was just like, well, fuck, man. Why don't you guys bring me here earlier? I'm ready to fucking party. And, we ended up fucking partying all night.
That was a great experience. I had a sprained leg, but this girl with a cast came up to me and was like, oh, you're crippled too? I'm crippled too. I got a broken leg. And rest in peace, Matt Riot says, I love girls in casts. It's one of my fetishes. He goes, he picked her up and ran into the woods, and they had a great time. R.I.P.
Yeah, they had a great time in the woods with the girl with the broken leg. There was girls getting in the ring doing all kinds of weird naked stuff.
This is a funny story. So girls were just full on HLA and stuff. Well, a girl actually owned the house we were at. She did not like it, so she ended up trying to fight the girls.
Glenn Moore knows that girl. He went on a date with her a couple
Really?
times.
That's weird. Threw lit cigarettes in the ring. All while this is going on, Honky Tonk Man is just howling in laughter, thinking it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, so, there's some times where, we leave our fate in other people's hands, and it turns out, mostly, even if there's not money involved, it'll turn out okay as long as we're partying hard, which we definitely partied for about 2 straight days with those 40 kegs that they got.
That was a great experience.
I guess, another time we kind of entrusted our lives in the hands of Drew Cordero trying to get us bought shows was, it ended up being Wrestling Road Diaries 1. We did a show at his haunted house on a Thursday night, and the big highlight of that event for me, besides Bryan Danielson and Colt Cabana and being a part of this documentary, was we had to run as a co-promotion with this other Ohio promotion that now doesn't exist, Hybrid Wrestling, and their promoter was well known for cutting the sleeves off of his shirts. Even. Guy never owned a fucking shirt with sleeves on it ever. So our good buddy Aaron Bauer and all of his I'm trying to think of the proper way to describe it. Well, fuck, I'll just say
I would say
in the height of his pill addiction.
Whoa, brother! I was gonna say the height of his haze or something.
Yeah, the height of his extracurricular recreational drug use. He decides. Even though he worked for Hybrid, he hated this fucking promoter. He decides that he's gonna make fun of him, and he's gonna cut the sleeves off of an entire suit. But he failed to realize that was a suit that he fucking wore on his wedding day,
which was about 2 months prior, I think.
Yeah, or was it he was supposed to wear that suit at his upcoming wedding? I can't remember. But
no, I think it was after the fact.
But he cuts the sleeves off this fucking off this suit, and
because he had bought a suit, I think, at the thrift store
to purposely purposely do this. But him and Jerry were probably going a little hard on the Blunskis in the parking lot, and they walk in with a fucking with a cut off suit.
Yeah, at least they showed up.
Yeah, and it was his wedding suit, and his fucking wife was pretty pissed at all of us for quite some time. But that's really the. A short story that could be an entire episode on how the.
But real quick, I've never felt like weirder running a show because they would have a match, we would have a match, and go back and forth, and it was just such a awkward, weird thing.
It was a weird experience, but they had a deal with that haunted house, so we had to do a co-promotion with them, but they weren't gonna be featured in the documentary. They just wanted to have a show. It was fucking weird shit, man. This is the weird shit that you have to do when you're.
We were just we have to have a show because Colt Cabana says we have to be on that day.
We have to have a show on a Thursday if we want Bryan Danielson to come wrestle for $100. So we fucking had that show. But Aaron Bauer lost his fucking wedding suit.
Are there any other requests that you've had odd requests from people to come out to do a show or an event?
Dude, we get requests to come set up and do men oil wrestling in dudes' barns and backyards.
Oh, we get probably at least one email a week from fetish people, and they're like, "We'll give you $30 if you set up the ring for an hour."
Yeah, and just let us oil up and roll around in it.
We'll sell out for big money. We'll sell out for big money. That we're just saying, but like none of these people offer anything worthwhile.
Yeah, I'm not fucking transporting rings so dudes can oil up and fucking tackle each other for an hour for $30, man. That you got to at least come with fucking 500. But
500. Let's talk a couple Ks.
500.
Hey man, 500. That's as low as I'm going. But yeah, you know, like we get all kinds of fucking weird requests that never pan out. You know,
a lot of people think shows are free because we've had like festivals and stuff, and they're just like, "Oh, can't you guys just come put on a wrestling show?" And I'm like, "There's a lot of costs involved."
Yeah, you know, like or like county fairs or fucking like come set up a fucking show in my bar parking lot, like shit like that. Like, but I don't want to give you any money. I'll just give you fucking chicken wings. Like,
well, we had a show for chicken wings. I would have done that.
Fuck chicken wings, dude. I don't eat anything with fucking bones in it. It's disgusting. But yeah, we get all kinds of weird fucking weird requests. But you know, like just going through the few weird experiences, like the guy having to fucking play poker to fucking pay us, like it's got to be something like totally 100% legit
and guaranteed.
Which I feel that guy offered us $25,000 to buy AIW recently was totally legit with his 134 Facebook likes for his entertainment conglomerate that he said that he was going to.
Or the guy that said he was going to buy all the DVD rights to our shows and give us 2% of all sales.
Oh yeah, we get like all kinds of offers of like, let me buy your company.
Or do you want to join our companies together and
yeah, like let's combine companies.
A lot of fake NWAs out there too.
Are there are these guys from our princes in Nigeria?
No, princes in Nigeria.
These are all weird American wrestling people.
But like an old Mexican man did try to invest his entire retirement in us.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
And we said no because I felt bad. I just can't take $65,000 from my old ass man. But
somebody would.
You know, Joe D. But anyway, we'll, you know, we get all kinds of different weird proposals. I'm sure all independent wrestling promoters get weird fucking propositions and proposals. And if you do and you're listening to this and you're a wrestling promoter, please let me know because they are fucking so entertaining, the weird shit and weird emails that we get. Like I said, you know, the dudes wrestling in oil for, you know, offering us $30. That's just the tip of the iceberg of the weird fucking requests that we get.
All right, that's going to wrap it up here for The Card Is Going to Change, presented by AIW and sponsored by Smart Mark Video. And This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. Thank you guys for listening. You can download, subscribe, rate, comment on the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, the podcast store on Google Play. If it's Android or iPhone, you guys can listen to the show. And we'll talk to you guys next week.